Lovely stuff. God save the King. I'm joined now by the former chaplain to our late and great Queen, Dr. Gavin Ashenden. Gavin, thank you very much for your time as ever. What was your takeaway from that King's speech?
I thought it was really good, very good indeed. But I'd say there were two elements to it. And so there, if you like, the presentation, which was brilliant, frankly, and the philosophy. The problem is that philosophically, he was talking about three key areas. And whenever people talk in this kind of way, there are always code words. And the code words cause me alarm. I don't think everyone will pick them up, but nonetheless, they define the way he thinks. But I have to say that in terms of a presentation, it was first rate, and people will be very pleased, and we can be very, very proud of him.
Yeah, Gavin, what would you say, of course you worked with the late and great Queen, what would you say the differences are stylistically? The King, dare I say, seemed to be more, well, he was playing into the acting role and the theatre of it. You know, he gave a few looks away from camera and then another look into camera. It was more playful, dare I say.
Well, stylistically, I thought he was very good. He was his own man. He looked different to the past. It's almost as if he's had a very long... Yes, he's had a constitutional adolescence, and finally he's in his grown-up role, and one could see more clearly both his mother and father in him. But it wasn't, I mean, that was part of the presentational excellence. I thought it was very good indeed. The problem is, in terms of the future of the monarchy, that it was the philosophy that underlay it that caused me alarm, and I thought, this is such a shame. I wished he held different views. So there's a sense that there's a wokeness to the king, and there were I don't know if you want me to pursue this, but there were three areas I thought where it caused me alarm. First of all, when he talks about it's Jesus, Christianity, Interfaith, and Ecology were the three themes beyond the service of the community, which was the service of the community is fantastic. But in Christianity, he chose to say that Jesus serves. Actually, Jesus saves. And the difference is huge, because the first is a sort of liberal understanding, a universalist understanding of Christianity. But actually, the incarnation of Christmas is about the Savior who comes. And to choose the word serve instead of save sends a signal that he's not close enough to the orthodox line of being a Christian for comfort. And then when it came to the world religions, we're in the most dreadful place where the three world religions are at each other's throats. But the reason they're at each other's throats is because Islam is persecuting Christians worldwide and calling for a genocide of Jews. Now, the media won't let us talk about this, but one of the ways of covering this up is to talk about the three Abrahamic faiths. Actually, that's a really inadequate way of talking about them, and it doesn't allow us to deal with the problem, the elephant we have in the room. So I understood why he wanted to cover it up, but nonetheless, he holds the view that the three faiths are more congruent than they actually are. And the last thing of all, of course, was ecology. And once again, he used a wonderful phrase. He talked about the world being an expression of the divine. Well, it is, that's true. But the problem we have with ecology is it's becoming a new religion. And once again, Prince Charles's background is that he's more in favor of this religion than we think he should be. And the reason that matters is because the whole net zero thing is a form of fundamentalist religion. And so once again, it would have been good for him to have drawn back from that rather than to give signals that he was fully on board with that. So in these three areas, the philosophy that lay behind the absolutely excellent presentation caused me some alarm, but not everyone will see that. But there are these two elements, what it looks like, which is brilliant.
Yes, Gavin, some might say, but look, we saw in the last few years of Her Majesty the Queen's life, she attended the COP26 summit, which was hosted by London, where she gave an environmental message and a speech there. Do you think actually this idea that this is a cross-party consensus opinion actually means that the royals are safe to talk about this, as you put it, new religion?
Yes, of course. Of course, he had to talk about those three areas, and he did it very well. I'm delving deeper into the background beliefs that lie behind it. But we can all talk about the importance of ecology and the absolutely supreme importance of dealing with pollution and an abuse of our environment without subscribing to the way in which it's become a highly politicized movement that is making the poor poorer and is actually deceiving us with science that is which is conflicted. So there are two ways of talking about the environment, and I simply think that the signals that he gives are that at least he's on the other side of the argument that I'm on.
Yes, I mean, does that give you sort of pause for alarm? I mean, if we look at it across the monarchy itself, the working royals, the next in line, it all looks pretty stable, dare I say, Gavin. I don't want to jinx anything.
No, I agree. I'm hugely encouraged by that. I mean, I'm a monarchist. I'm a royalist. I think for one of the reasons that one of your earlier contributors said, it's who they keep out of power that is partly what they bring to the situation. So, long live the king, God save the king, and may they continue to do this for a long time. Yes, it looks stable. Thank God. That's very good. However, one of the ways in which the king might give his weight is towards, if you like, a more traditional, a more conservative, a more British view of these things. And therefore, I'd like him to be more of a confessing Christian, a real defender of the faith, not interfaith. I'd like him to defend Christianity, frankly, and I'd like him not to support ecology as a new religion. But which is what I think, which is where I think it's leaning the wrong way. Now, it doesn't matter. It may be that his main role is to presentationally glue us together as a British family. He's done that awfully well. We should be very grateful.
All right, we'll leave it there. Very Merry Christmas to you, Gavin, and lovely to see you as ever. That was the former chaplain to the late Queen, Dr. Gavin Ashenden.